ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
This is CoreTV News of the Hour with Nifemi Oguntoye. Now, party members and aspirants have arrived at venues of the governorship primaries of the All Progressives Congress starting today across the country. The primaries will not take place in states like Osun, Ekiti, and Edo. There are also indications that states like Yobe, Borno, and Gombe, for obvious security reasons, may postpone the primaries. In Lagos, delegates' accreditation has taken off at the Onikos Stadium venue of the primaries. We'll be joined subsequently by our correspondents who will feed us with update on that story. Nigeria's leading opposition party, the All Progressives Congress, has now formally opted for Lagos as the venue of its national convention. It also disclosed that over 8,000 delegates are expected to participate in the process that will lead to the emergence of the party's presidential candidate on December 10 and 11. Chairman of the National Convention Committee and former Ekiti State Governor Kayode Fayemi disclosed this to journalists in Abuja after a closed-door meeting with all the presidential aspirants. He also maintained that all the aspirants are in support of the decision to shift the elective convention from Abuja to Lagos. In spite of his initial opposition, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has now backed the choice of Lagos as the venue for the presidential primaries of the APC, slated for December 10. Atiku said in a statement by his media office in Abuja on Wednesday that he is not only delighted that Lagos has been selected to host the elective convention, but is also confident that the city has all it takes to make the event memorable and successful. The former vice president added that having spent several years of his public service in Lagos, the city is like home to him. He also described himself as a Lagosian, especially as a part of his large family lives there, when noting also that he is not a stranger to the cosmopolitan city. In spite of initial reactions and insinuations along that line, the opposition party, the APC, has now cleared all 5 presidential aspirants to participate in the forthcoming national convention. All of them were also handed clearance certificate to signify their right to jostle for the party's presidential ticket on December 10. Chairman of the 8-member screening committee, Ogbonnaya Onu, handed over the certificates to all the aspirants before shedding light on their performance at the screening.
The Presidential Screening Committee met with 5 very distinguished Nigerians and members of the APC seeking the nomination of the party to contest for the position of President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. During that exercise, we found that these men are so distinguished that there is not one of them that will not make a great difference for our nation. I want to also reveal to you that the score was very narrow and very high. The least scored 62% and the highest scored 78%. Even the second scored 77%. And the third scored 75%. So you can see how close it was.
We went through the meal yesterday. I suspect each one of us not less than an hour on foreign affairs, on security, on economy, on the impact of what our personal decisions are to the polity. It's a very trying time, I believe, for the 5 of us, but we are grateful that they have been very generous in their award of marks.
Okay, we're joined now live by our correspondent Abiola Oluwole, who is present at the ongoing governorship primaries of the APC in Lagos. Where exactly are you now, Abiola?
To take part in this election. Accreditation is ongoing now. The security is very tight. And now, three of the aspirants are in. We have here one of the Daniel Solomon, Olashukwu Sasore, and Adeyemi Kukuriki are so far the aspirants that are within the press. Accreditation of delegates are ongoing now.
Okay, accreditation are ongoing.
Yes.
Are you not baffled that most of the aspirants are not there yet?
Yeah, we have only three aspirants here. I've said we have Daniel Solomon here, Olashukwu Sasore, and Adeyemi Kukuriki out of the 12 aspirants. And we are expecting 6,300 delegates across the 20 local governments of the state to participate in the primaries.
Okay, what's the presence of the delegates there like? Out of the 6,300 that are being expected, can you confirm if you have quite a handful of them at the venue already?
We have a handful of them because the place is filled to capacity. The place is filled to capacity. Each of the 10 for the local government is filled to the capacity.
Okay. How will you describe also the security present in that place?
The security situation here is very tight. Barring security situation here is very tight. Everybody is being screened before allowed entry into the venue.
Okay, so when exactly are the elections hopefully are going to start proper?
Hopefully the election is expected to start proper by 1 p.m.
1 p.m. But by now you're confirming that only 3 of the aspirants are present at the venue.
Yeah, 3 aspirants are only, we have 3 aspirants at the venue now.
It's all right. Abiola Oluwole, thank you for joining us this hour on the news and able to keep us up to date with stories as they evolve from there. Abiola Oluwole is our political correspondent monitoring the ongoing governorship primary elections of the APC at the Onikon Stadium in Lagos. The All Progressives Congress has described the second raid on its Lagos data office by operators of the DSS as the height of impunity. Oluwaseyi Adigoke met with the Lagos APC chairman Henry Ajumale on the development and brought back this report.
For the second time in 2 weeks, operatives of the DSS again stormed the APC office in Lagos and broke into their storage facility, carting away 30 bags filled with APC membership registration forms. The Lagos APC chairman, Henry Ajumale, who confirmed the developments, slams the DSS operatives for disrespecting the rule of law.
I wonder why they purposely targeted Lagos. It's not the first time. This is the second time they are coming, and they carted away so many of them. Despite the court injunctions, they just went to do whatever they like to do. I just believe that there's nobody above the law in this country. We must respect the rule of law. If you want to have a good and democratic country, we must respect the rule of law.
CoreTV News could not gain access to the raided office as it was placed on the lock. But is there any particular reason for this? Taking into consideration that the same office was open for journalists to ascertain the level of attack aftermath the first raid by the DSS operatives.
It was locked because they came to raid all the materials that they are using. All our staffs that were taken are still very much afraid to come back to the office because we asked them to stay away because we don't know when they are coming to raid them again.
2 Lagos-based lawyers, Wale Ogunade and Monday Ubani, also condemned the act put up by the DSS operatives.
Impunity. This is affront. Well, looking at the law, that's contempt. You see, my problem is with government agencies. They behave as if they are above the law. So, if some people think that they're in government and in power today, and they trample on the law with impunity, we will continue to do our work. But we know that very soon, they are chicken.
But I think this is condemnable. It is despicable. It is not. It shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be tolerated. And we must insist that the proper thing be done. Let us know what their findings have always been. What have you found out with the first raid you did? Now even the second raid, their silence so speak volumes. Why are you keeping silent? You owe us an explanation. This DSS is under the law, and they are working for Nigeria. That is the thing. So they must be accountable to us.
The raid, in the opinions of many, is an unwelcoming sign of what to expect ahead the 2015 general elections. Oluwaseyi Adigoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Away from there now to Rivers State, where aggrieved aspirants of the People's Democratic Party from the state have sued the party's national secretariat while demanding removal of the state leadership of the party led by Felix Obo. The protesters also want the People's Democratic Party Deputy National Chairman Uche Secondas removed from office for undermining the recent party primaries. The protesters, who vowed to stay put at the party secretariat in Abuja, insisted that the national leadership should disregard the result of the primaries, which they claim was skewed in favor of former Minister of State for Education, Nyesom Wike.
We bought one for over 2 million naira, and we were screened on the 6th of November. Yes, now, by the electoral guideline released by our party, PDP, 25 of it says that 24 hours after our screening, we must know the screening result of the screening outcome. Now, this is because there is an appeal panel, so that if you have any misgiving, you approach the appeal panel. That same appeal panel, under that Article 25, is supposed to submit its own report within 48 hours. Here we are, being screened on the 6th. We have waited, no word from our party. After buying forms for 6 million, I'm a lawyer. Having crisscross, writing briefs, 2 million naira, but form, no word. Until on the 28th of this month, 29th is the day announced by our party for the primaries. So on the 28th, we have to come to National Secretariat. What is happening? Where is our clearance certificate so that we can participate in the election?
In the Rivers State House of Assembly, we are supposed to have at least 11 women in the House. And as it stands now, we don't have even one. So we are totally against that. We, the women, we are calling from our national leader, the woman, to our president's wife, Mrs. Jonathan, to do something about the women, because we are not happy. We, the Rivers women, we are not happy. And God must surely hear our cry, because today we have come. And we are not in a hurry to go until this issue is being resolved.
The truth about it is that the Felix Obua led administration in Rivers State is actually working towards disenfranchising people who are legit to run these offices. For me as an individual, I ran for the local government chairmanship in Ikwere local government area in 2007 under the platform of PDP, and I was screened and cleared to run the election. This time around, I picked a form worth over 3 million to run for the Federal House of Representatives, and till date, as I talk to you, I don't know if I've been cleared or disqualified. And our primaries will be coming up on Saturday.
You're on to CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take a break now. I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. You can access all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NJ, as well as on YouTube at youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space and news. Former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Bamanga Tukur, whose bid to return to office 10 months after his resignation was dismissed by a federal high court in Abuja on Tuesday, says he would appeal against the court's judgment. Speaking through his lawyer, Adebora Damson, Tukur says the notice of appeal would be filed in the Court of Appeal, Abuja, on Thursday. Tukur had asked the Federal High Court to declare his resignation on January 15, 2014 as null and void, as same flouted the provisions of the Constitution, which required that a 30-day pre-resignation notice must be given to the National Executive Committee of the party. He had also asked the court to void the appointment of the incumbent national chairman of the party, Alhaji Adamu Muazu, on the grounds that his appointment flouted the provisions of Section 41, Subsection 1 and 2 of the party's constitution, which makes it mandatory for the party's chairman to emerge at the national convention. He also urged the court to reinstate him to his office. He sought these prayers in a counterclaim which he filed in response to the main suit instituted by a member of the party in his home state, Adamawa State, Aliyu Gure. And the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says the conduct of the 2015 general elections in the northeast states will depend on advice from security agencies. Chairman of INEC, Atahiru Jega, was speaking to newsmen in an interview with journalists during the opening ceremony of a two-day strategic stakeholders policy dialogue on promoting peaceful elections in 2015, says elections would only go ahead if security agencies guarantee the safety of its officers. Jega says he hopes that the various security challenges currently facing the country would have been addressed before the start of the 2015 general elections to give way for a free and safe conduct of the polls. He also disclosed that the commission is putting machinery in place towards ensuring that the internally displaced persons register and participate fully in the forthcoming polls. The people of Kebe Tambuwa constituency of Sokoto State have stalled proceedings in the suit filed by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwa, to challenge the withdrawal of his police outlays. When hearing resumed in the suit on Wednesday, Tambuwa's constituents told the court through their lawyers that they had filed separate applications for a stay of proceedings in the suit. The applications were meant to serve notice to the Court of an appeal against its decision to deny them the right to join the suit as defendants. In Osun State now, the legal teams of Governor Rauf Aregbesola, the APC, and INEC in the ongoing Osun State Election Petition Tribunal have faulted the final analysis presented by the forensic expert hired by the People's Democratic Party. The forensic expert presented result analysis for 1,842 polling units instead of 912 polling units in 17 local government areas under contention. The forensic expert, Bakari Pius, was one of the star witnesses of the PDP and governorship candidate Iyola Omishore. Pius, during cross-examination, agreed that there are erroneous entries in his analysis, but argued that this did not affect his conclusion. Counsel to the PDP gubernatorial candidate Iyola Omishore Nathaniel Oke agrees that the error will not have any negative effect on their case. But counsel to Governor Rauf Aregbesola Akinolujimi says the petitioners have shot themselves in the foot with their errors.
Irregularities in terms of misfiguring, and when you are having a document of such a volume and magnitude, here and there will be some differences which may not substantially affect the totality of his report.
It's very clear what you are trying to sell, you see, to the people, obviously, has collapsed. Because if the man complaining says, just bring out so many units, and you went to bring out 1,000 plus, obviously you have not carried out his mandate, and that means whatever you did is absolutely unreliable.
Now, in a swift reaction to the report we brought you earlier, former chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Bamanga Tukur, has now dissociated himself from a lawsuit seeking his reinstatement, as well as the removal of the incumbent PDP chairman, Adamu Muazu. Tukur, who spoke through his lawyer Adamson Adebore, that he was dragged into the case together with the current PDP chairman and INEC as defendants by Aliyu Gubrin. Justice Evo Tukur had dismissed Gubrin's suit seeking to remove the PDP chairman Muazu on the basis that he does not have local standing to institute the action. But the plaintiff has appealed the ruling and is urging the court to rule that Muazu's appointment as PDP chairman was illegal, having not complied with some relevant sections of both the party's constitution, the Electoral Act and the 1999 Constitution. It will be recalled that Tukur was forced to resign as part of efforts to pacify aggrieved party leaders who later defected to the All Progressives Congress. Imo State Governor Rochas Okorocha has vowed to wipe off Boko Haram if he becomes president on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. Speaking in an interactive session with executives of the Arewa Consultative Forum in Kaduna on Wednesday, the APC presidential aspirant says Boko Haram is not a hard nut to crack. Rochas, who was seeking the support of elders of northern Nigeria for his aspiration, also made a case for peaceful coexistence in the country. He added that he was in the race to make changes to Nigerian politics, irrespective of tribe and religion. Nigeria has recorded some improvement in the Global Corruption Perception Index, according to Transparency International. The Global Anti-Corruption Watchdog says in its latest report that the country is now 136th on the list of least corrupt country, same as Russia, Lebanon, and Kyrgyzstan. The report says a slight improvement on Nigeria's 144th ranking in 2013, 139th in 2012, and 143rd in 2011. Transparency International also ranks North Korea and Somalia as the joint most corrupt countries rank of 174 countries. Denmark and New Zealand are the least corrupt countries in the country on the Corruption Perception Index. In spite of dwindling oil revenue, the Federal Executive Council has approved several contracts in excess of 430 billion naira for the construction and rehabilitation of 17 highways and bridges across the country. The projects, which cut across 14 states, are set to be part of efforts to improve the nation's road network in line with the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan. Works Minister Mike Onolememe and Supervising Minister of Information Nuruddin Mohammed briefed State House correspondents on the outcome of the meeting presided over by President Goodluck Jonathan.
Today, the Federal Executive Council approved the awards of contracts for 17 strategic highways and bridges in different parts of the country at a total cost of about 430 billion naira to enhance the ongoing transformation of the road sector, catalyze economic activities, and bring about positive social change in different parts of our country. The details of the projects are as follows. 1. Construction of Bodoboni Road with bridges across Opobo Channel, Alpha Creek, and Nenambre Creek, otherwise known as Route 430 in Rivers State, to Mrs. Julius Berger PLC at a total cost of about 120.6 billion naira and a completion period of 58 months.
The third memo was also presented by the Minister of Nigerian Affairs, who presented the memo to seek Council's approval for the order of contract for the engineering supervision of the construction of East-West Road, Section 5, Oron Calabar, Phase 1 in Akwa Ibom and Rivers States. There is a budgetary. He informed Council that there is a budgetary position of 1.4 billion naira in the 2014 appropriation and the sum of $500 million being expected from the China Exim Bank for the project.
That wraps it on the news this hour. Do join us again at the top of the hour for more stories. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. Thanks for being there.